2K Crew, what is up? This is episode 37. Welcome, enjoy, sit back, relax. And if you're a Nats fan, this is going really nice.
Mm-hmm.
We had a very nice game last night with Verlander. From what I didn't see a lot of it. From what I saw, he had a rough first inning. Settled in Game 7, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And both him and the Big Maple, which he probably his best postseason start in his career,
Mm-hmm.
especially against that lineup. James Paxton, big kudos to you, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, you did something that none of the other Yankee starters could do. Even Tanaka, who's, if you look back in history, his postseason record is up there like a top 5 all time,
Mm-hmm.
which I didn't know. I just, he's one of those, it's, when it comes to Japanese and Asian pitchers, it always seems like it's more ticky-tacky. It's more, once you see the delivery, once you get used to it, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But, especially when he came over, he was a fireball throwing 98, 99 mile an hour. Now he's dotting it at 91, 92, but everything has movement. And I think that's helped him out a lot. And, he's had the elbow problems, which most other pitchers would have went Tommy John. He breasted it healed. So kudos to him. But I still think now, getting back to the national side, my question to you as 2K is, knowing what we know about rest when the Tigers did it, is this amount of rest good for a team or is it bad?
Well, in a lot of cases, I would say it's good. But with the Nationals, I mean, we touched on it last week. They're probably the hottest team in all of sports right now. I mean, They're the hottest team in baseball for sure. They rode that all the way into the playoffs just as a wild card, and then have taken off, since the playoffs have started. So, for a team like them, and I don't think they want this time off.
No.
I think they want to just keep on playing because right now they're playing like the best team in baseball.
Whomever comes out of the AL, that they're facing a Nats team, like we've said, that their pitching's unbelievable. Probably second only to the Astros. And with that being said, Zach Greinke's pitched okay. Won his last start, which that was kind of the with the Game 4 and the postponing of Game 4 that benefited the Astros a lot because they could shift their rotation. But he had a rough first couple innings, and after that settled in.
That was I was very happy with Major League Baseball as a whole and how they handled that situation. And they basically postponed that game first thing in the morning. Looking at, you knew that it was going to rain all day. Yeah. I'm glad that they didn't drag it out. These are the biggest games in baseball all season. I'm glad they didn't try to drag it out and try to force something in or having these guys play out in the rain or anything like that. I'm glad they just postponed it. We'll try again tomorrow. We know the weather's going to be better. There's just no. I mean, you're in postseason baseball. These guys are getting this mindset that, hey, we got to play it tonight, and by just making the call early in the day, hey, they can relax.
Yeah, you're not getting the day off. You're not getting a starter up, warming up, warming up for a game he knows he's not going into.
Yep.
Now, what's detrimental about that is the bullpens, and especially this day and age where everything is. If you get 3 innings out of your fucking starter, that's a great thing. So both especially, both managers, they're gonna earn their money when it comes to how they handle the bullpen. Because I saw or heard they were talking about the Yankees bullpen. No guy has gone 3 days in a row. It's always been 2 days and then an off day, 2 days and an off day. Especially with the Yankees being, backed into a corner, one more loss, and they're done. It's pretty much all hands on fucking deck. You're managing for today, get past today, and then we can look into tomorrow when it gets there. I think that the Astros are a little bit better set up going into this bullpen day today because there's 2 relievers the Yankees haven't seen yet this series. If you had to ask me, I think Peacock's going to get the ball first. And if he gives you, which Peacock's, he was a starter, and so I have all the faith in the world that if everything works out right, he could give you 5 easy innings.
Absolutely.
It's just keeping the ball in the park, which that was the big crusher last night. What was it, a 3-run home run?
Mm-hmm.
And off the foul pole. But we haven't really seen a lot of where during the regular season the ball is just flying out and the wind's blowing out to left, out towards left in Yankee Stadium. I think Sanchez had 1, and I think the Astros maybe hit 3 in 2 games. So it's kind of a flip flop from the regular season. Now you're seeing better pitching in the postseason, which I think is accounting for a lot of that. Which I love because it's always the adage, good pitching beats good hitting any day of the week. Wow, it seems like every quarterback is hurt.
Yeah, they're I don't know. They're trying. They're making. It seems like it would be the exact opposite because these days you can't even touch a quarterback,
especially TB12.
You can't hit them high. You can't hit them low. You can't put your body weight on them. I mean, they got so many quarterback rules to try to protect them, and they're dropping like flies.
Yeah, I made a list here, and this is quarterbacks that were starting last year or this year that aren't playing right now or have just come off injury. Cam Newton. Now, can't remember his backup's name. But
Kyle Allen.
He's been tearing it up.
I don't think Cam Newton's going to have a job.
No, I
when
don't
he
think
gets
so
healthy
either.
Because that kid is the real deal.
And there's a couple other quarterbacks that I think I would agree with that sentiment as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're a Bears fan, do you want Cam in Chicago? You'd have to give up a shit ton.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an upgrade.
Yeah,
I think it's an upgrade,
especially considering there was rumors they were going to try to trade for Eli.
I'd
rather have Mitchie any day of the week over Eli.
Oh yeah, I mean at this point in their careers,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do you got, another year or 2 out of Eli, and he's going to be done?
I would much rather take the growing pains with Trubinsky than even entertain Eli.
Yeah. I think with Cam Newton, it's a whole different argument because I think a lot of people forget that Newton's like 30 years old. I mean, he's right in the prime of his career, and unfortunately, his numbers have dropped. I think a lot of it is due to injury.
Yes.
And what made Cam so good was he was like the best running back on his team. Also,
he's bigger than any other linebacker in the league.
Yeah.
He trucks offensive linemen,
and due to injuries, and he's got a lot of injuries because of that play style. He's not going to be able to do that anymore. So the question is, can Cam sit in the pocket and make throws? And I mean, is he going to ever make throws like Drew Brees and Brady and those guys? Hell no. But I do think that he still has good. He still is a solid quarterback, and I think he's a huge step up from Trubisky.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Mitch, he's missed some time. Is he starting this week?
I think he is.
He is?
Yeah.
And so we can, hopefully he comes in and his collarbone's right, and we can at least table the talk for trading for a quarterback at least till next year. Another interesting one is Nick Foles.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Minshew mania.
Man.
And you know what? Nick Foles.
Yes.
And I never want a player to get hurt, but I'm glad the situation came because I'm a huge Minshew fan.
Yes. I mean, how can you not be?
Yeah, exactly. He's winning with a team.
He seems like one of those guys that I would want to hang out with.
Drink a beer and hang out with.
Yes.
Him and his mustache.
Yes, absolutely. I wish I could have a mustache like that.
Yeah, I could, but mine gets really creepy and nasty.
He pulls it off, though. To me, he don't even look like a creep. He just looks like a cool guy with that mustache.
And I'm pretty sure our YouTube fans don't want to see that creepy stash. But he's balling out, and of course he's not had the level of success I think that some of the other backups have had. What is he, 500?
Yeah, probably about that.
But if little else, I think the Jags have a viable trade bait. Mm-hmm. Like I said, if nothing else, I think I'd ride him.
Oh, I think so too. I think so too. I don't know. I'm in between on that one just because what Foles was able to do. You know, when he stepped in, I want to see. I was kind of excited going into this year. I mean, I'm not wasn't like I was, you know, off the wall, super stoked to watch the Jaguars, but I was kind of excited to see him with his, you know, his opportunity. This is your team, and unfortunately, it goes down on like the first drive of the first game of the season. And I get it; it's not a season-ending injury, but I would have liked to see, you know, what could he have done? How would it have went down for him? And he does have some pretty good receivers there in Jacksonville. You know, people don't talk about him, you know, a whole lot because they don't have any big names. But you know, you look at like DJ Chark, he's kind of come off the radar this year and looking good. And I'm trying to remember the other one's name there, but no, they got some decent receivers there, and you know you got Leonard Fournette. I think he's a top 10 back in the NFL.
Probably one of the more underrated backs because he's a three down back, and there aren't many of those left in football. So, and I'm right there with you. I was kind of excited to see giving a year what Nick Foles could do. Let's move on to the list here. The newest walking wounded, Mr. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know Matt Moore's in the fucking league anymore. Which last year he wasn't. So,
I'm not a Chiefs fan by any means, but man, after that all happened, Thursday night, I couldn't. Just watching the rest of the game, I was just sick to my stomach because I was at the time. You know, I didn't. Fortunately, now after hearing some of the news, it sounds like he's going to be out for maybe close to a month or so, but it's not season ending and you know, nothing like that. But at the time, thinking about it, I'm like, man, the best player in the NFL right now, the most exciting player in the NFL to watch, and we might not be able to watch him the rest of the season.
Yeah, I was in. They quoted Travis Kelce saying his knee didn't look like a knee. Yeah, and that it didn't look like much when they showed the replay, but then you saw what happened. Oh, no. So that, and I was watching. It was NFL Live the other day, and they were judging by the record. I mean, you really can't. If Mahomes comes back in the 3 to 4 weeks, which they're talking about, they're still a playoff team. They're obviously not going unless something drastic happens with the Pats. I really don't think they're going to be gunning for home field, but they're one of those teams that if they just get in, I don't think it matters where the fuck they play.
First pick 'em, I'm going. I've kind of been riding LSU for a long time.
I don't blame you.
Mr. Burrow's there playing quarterback. He's really impressing me. I think even after last week, I had him. Last week when we went over the Heisman talks, I had him at number 5. I think maybe going into this week, I have him in my top 3 now.
He's definitely opening some eyes. That's for sure.
And I think LSU is a very, very legit championship contender this year. So I'm picking them over Auburn.
All right. I'm my first one. I'm looking at the NFL. I'm looking at the Redskins at the Vikings. No, I'm not taking the Redskins. Taking the Vikings. And my next pick'em is I'm looking at the Big Ten, Wisconsin at Ohio State. I'm taking Ohio State. That's going to be a badass fucking game.
Oh, I think so too.
And as selfish as I am, because it is Notre Dame, Michigan next week, as much as I wanted game day at the big house for our game, game day is going to Columbus.
Oh, they have to.
Game day is going to Columbus. And this might be a preview of the Big Ten title game.
Absolutely.
You know, that we could see these same two teams here in a few weeks. So, but I think Wisconsin hasn't played a defense like Ohio State's. But you could say Ohio State hasn't played a defense like Wisconsin's. Definitely Ohio State hasn't faced a running back like our boy. But Wisconsin hasn't faced Justin Fields.
Yep.
And I think he is going to be the make or break person. I think it's going to be his play that's going to determine if Ohio State wins or loses.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm as much as Jonathan Taylor, we love him. I mean, we've been his biggest fucking fans all year. And Chase Young on the other side. I mean, it's probably going to be one of the best games of the year. But I think Justin Fields, there's just too much. I think it's going to be a big test because it's going to be his biggest game. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's in Columbus helps me be more confident in that pick. Yep. What's your next pick?
The next pick'em game I'm going with, who would be my pick for NFL MVP right now, and Russell Wilson. And I'm picking Seahawks over the Falcons.
Russ is doing it again.
Yep,
he's doing it again. Doing it, of course. It always seems like he does it quiet because he's on the left coast. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I have. Speaking of him, I've never seen someone have as much finesse and touch on a football. When it comes out of his hand, you're like, is it going 20 yards? Because it goes like this on the screen, and it goes 60.
Yeah,
I mean, he can float it, he can fire it. He's healthy.
Yep.
That and that's another defense, maybe addition by subtraction with all of these guys, mm-hmm. and he's got them rolling.
Yep.
I can't disagree with that pick. What's your last pick'em there, 2Ks?
My last pick'em game, I know I picked against him last week, and I'm probably being stupid for picking this, but fuck it. I'm just going to pick it anyways. I'm picking Michigan over Notre Dame. To me, it's a rivalry game. I think Michigan will play their best game of the season, and if this game was in South Bend, I would definitely pick against Michigan, but being that it's in the big house, mm-hmm. Michigan doesn't lose there very often, and I think that they will figure out a way to pull it off.
Now I
really don't feel that way, but I'm
I was gonna ask a question that Michigan's got to get up 2 weeks in a row, 3 if you want to include the Iowa game.
Yep.
Where Notre Dame's coming off a bye. Mm-hmm. They're this Penn State game that they're playing today. Oof, that's why game day's there. Mm-hmm. In a whiteout. I think. And this is not taking in, who's better, who's this. I just think Notre Dame is very, very fortunate for Michigan to be beaten up for 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. It's going to be tough. Can Michigan win? Yep. Is it going to be extremely tough? Mm-hmm. Yep. So we shall see. My last pick'em, I'm staying in the Big Ten, taking Penn State over Michigan State. Penn State over Michigan State because Michigan State doesn't have a quarterback. Well, they do. Somehow he's still leading the Big Ten in passing yards.
Yeah.
But how can you lead in passing yards and score that few points?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Hit me with your paycheck game, if you would, please.
Paycheck game, I'm going the Rams. They got to turn things around eventually. Hopefully the Ramsey trade. I know that we touched on they gave up a lot for it, but you also got a superstar for it.
And he'll have an extra week in the system.
And so you're getting that back. Hopefully some guys, I know the Rams are pretty beat up. I know Gurley's coming back this week also, but they've been beat up on the offensive line. I think they're starting to get healthy. And I'm putting my paycheck on they can at least take out the Bengals, who might be the worst team in the NFL.
Well, it was kind of shitty that someone between the Redskins and Dolphins had to win.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping for a tie because neither one deserved to win.
Mm-hmm. I'm still looking forward to that Bengals-Miami Week 16 game because there might be 2 winless teams in Week 16.
The Tua Bowl, the game you don't want to win. Well, my paycheck game, I'm going to touch on. I'm bringing back one of your picks, and I'm more confident than you are. I'm taking LSU over Auburn. Not to say that Auburn has had a bad season. Gus Malzahn's coaching them up. If you fast forward to next year with that freshman quarterback, I think they're going to be a lot better. LSU's on a fucking tear. Yeah. And it's home. Give me that game all day.
Yeah.
Give me that game all day.
LSU, I mean, they might be the most impressive team in the country to me right now. It's hard to argue Ohio State, but I think LSU's played a little bit more of a schedule so far.
They've played the toughest schedule in anyone in the top 10.
Yeah,
easily.
Ohio State's season is going to be it's a make or break game to me next week with that Wisconsin game. You're going to see, is Ohio State the best team in the country, or are they still not? Are they not there?
Or I mean, we'll see if how legit Wisconsin is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you and I we've been riding that Wisconsin bandwagon for all season.
Yep.
And yeah, it's going to be a huge game. And do I think either way, when either team loses, are they done in the Big Ten? No, not at all. Does it hurt their playoff chances? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
The team that loses is going to have to win the Big Ten title. Mm-hmm. And if you win the Big Ten title and take care of business, I can see you making it.
Yep.
See you making it. What is your Onions game, my kind sir?
Onions game, I'm going Wisconsin over Ohio State. Yeah, we've been huge Jonathan Taylor fans, and I think Jonathan Taylor is going to just have a monster game. I think he's gonna kind of wipe out Justin Fields in the Heisman talks. I think Fields will probably have a decent day, but Fields hasn't seen a defense like Wisconsin's, and he's going to see that firsthand. And with the exception of maybe one game this season where Wisconsin looked kind of just mediocre in the Northwestern game.
Yeah.
But every other game that they've played this season, they have just blown their opponent out. They made Michigan look like trash. They fucking destroyed Michigan State last week.
Did I hear a stat that Wisconsin's defense has given up 6 touchdowns and they've scored 6 touchdowns? It's either 4 or 6.
Yeah, could be right.
Which astounds me.
Yeah.
But, like you said, the Big Ten, it always seems like for the top teams, their schedule is backloaded. Instead of being like spread out. It's always been that way. Always been that way. But
I think with Wisconsin, I've been saying it for the last probably 2 or 3 weeks. I think Ohio State is the best, has looked like on TV, has looked like the best team in the nation. But something tells me, and I'm not ready. I'm saying it now because I'm picking Wisconsin. But something tells me that Wisconsin's a lot better than what people are giving them credit for.
Yes.
I think that when you look at Wisconsin, they're not the sexy pick. They're not the Ohio State. They're not the Bama. They're not the Clemson.
They don't have the Heisman Trophy candidate in the quarterback.
Yes,
which I think is they're not garnering the attention that the other schools are. But you have a Heisman candidate in the fucking running back. Mm-hmm. If you could give the Heisman to the offensive line, I think they'd get it. Mm-hmm. Their defense is
stout all the way around.
All the way around.
They have a quarterback. They haven't had a quarterback in years.
And the key to Wisconsin winning that game is I have a very good feeling that you're not going to shut out JT by any means.
No.
But if you hold him under 100 yards and make their quarterback make plays, which he's done, but not against a defense like that. That's why I said when it comes down, I think Fields is going to be what tips the scales for me. Would it shock me either way? If that's why I said this is going to be a badass game. I'm going to be watching probably all of it, and it wouldn't shock me either if it was a 10-12 game or something, 10-13.
I was looking at it, and right now they have Ohio State as a 9.5 favorite.
Well, if you remember right, last week they had Michigan a 3-point favorite over Penn State, and that flipped quick. I think it's 8.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the when they lay the odds for the college games are not exactly the right ones, especially a week in advance.
Yep.
But my Onions game, we touched on him before. I'm taking Danny Dimes over the Lie Downs.